Do you want to know how to get the perfect credit score?
Yeah.
Today we're talking about it.
Oh, good.
Today's the day.
Today is that day.
Today is that day. Congratulations for finding this video, and we're thankful to have you.
Yeah, and welcome to 5 Friday Feedback. We are going to be exploring how to get the perfect credit score. But before we do that, what is a credit score?
What is a credit score? It's an age. I almost said it's an age range. It's an age range. I am 26 credit scores old. No, that's not it at all. It's a range. It can be between 300 and 850. Let's just get the basics out. 300 and 850. Credit is not cash you own, but you have access to. Right?
Yep.
You also have a credit limit. Do you want to talk on that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So a credit limit is how much other people have deemed you worthy of. So saying like, I will give you, Dom, I'll give you $5 of credit because that's how much I trust you. $5.
Damn.
In case you screw it up.
Okay.
But in general, having more credit or a better credit score means that more people believe that you are worthy of credit and will pay it back in time.
Yes.
So generally, a higher credit score, more towards the 850 range, is better than a lower credit score in the 300 range. And we have a very large gap. It's actually like I've never seen. You have to try to like get below 500. Like
Yeah.
it's pretty difficult.
It's tough. It's also really difficult to get 850.
Yeah, I don't really. Yeah, but again, once you're over 720, you're already in the range. You're already in the A range.
Yeah.
Like you can go in like I'm at 800s and like it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Like you already have the best of the stuff.
Have you ever seen an 850?
No, I never have.
Never have, me neither.
Maybe I'm sure there's somebody.
My dad claims he had an 840 once, but it's like, it could just be just like, he's shooting the shot, It's like, yeah, back in my day, I had like 849s. Of course I did. It was in the 80s,
But your credit score really is your report card. It's your report card from 3 major credit bureaus, TransUnion, Equifax, and Transamerica, that says you, person, are deemed worthy to receive credit. And if these 3 companies all agree saying like this is your credit score, then other issuers who know nothing about you walk into a random dealership, into a mortgage place, into a credit card saying, I want you to lend me money. Well, I mean, how are they going to know that you're worthy of it?
Yeah.
That's the reason that we have a credit score, so that they can just quickly glance at a number and be like, okay, this person is B worthy. So we'll extend whatever B credit is to somebody.
Yes.
If this person is, F worthy, then we're going to extend, whatever F credit is, if at all.
Yeah, because you can get declined for credit cards as well.
Of course you can get declined for credit cards. You can get declined for loans or of any type. Yeah. But that's the nice thing, when we were in small hunter-gatherer groups, right? Like everyone knew who each other was, and we knew your word was law or not law, and it was very, very easy. But now that we have such a large society of people, you're not walking around. I mean, who knows? As we're kind of moving into like the future of like the world, like social media, honestly, could become a currency where it's like this is you.
Like in China.
Yeah, like in China, there could be like a social credit score.
Yeah.
But at this point, thank God we don't have that, and no one is walking around with their credit score beamed above their head, or it's like, here's my business card and that's my credit score.
Yeah, it's like, oh, those are bad Yelp reviews.
Yeah. So luckily, your credit score gets to be internal to you for right now.
Yes.
But we should still try to build it up as much as we can, because it's going to have so many good effects on our life if we have a better credit score than a bad credit score, including when we go to purchase a house or a car, or even if we want to get credit cards in order to travel the world for free. Having a better credit score really opens those opportunities to you.
And I know you said travel the world for free. That's like a little. Are we going to talk about that today, or is that another pod, or what are you talking about there?
No, we're going to talk about it today. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into what a credit score is. Then we're going to talk about ways to improve it. And then last Monday, we talked about what's in my wallet, how do I think through credit card rewards and all these things. This time, I thought would be really fun is you were telling me that you're looking for a new credit card to add to your repertoire. Add to your little add to your back utility belt.
My financial utility belt.
So what I'm going to do is we will walk through as if I was coaching you for what credit card is going to be right for Dominic based off your stage of life and the way I'm thinking through these situations. Of course, personal finance is personal. I guide, you decide. But I'm going to tell you some of the ways that I'm thinking through these things so you can make the best informed decision. And our viewer here can also listen in as to how I was think through these situations.
So we already talked about what it is. Let's talk about how we can improve it. How can we maintain it? All that fun stuff, the percentages, all that good stuff. Yeah. And then we'll get to my stuff. Is that good?
Yeah, so first things first, what are the components of a credit score? What makes up this wide range of 300 to 850? Yeah. How do I get the 850? How do I avoid the 300? I've always wanted to have 300 because I think it's a fun number.
No, I like the movie Spark.
I like the
300.
movie. Yes, I like Leonidas. I want that number.
Yep.
But
hopefully they get that reference.
Hopefully they get it.
Yes.
So the first thing that helps to build credit is 35% of your credit score is payment history. And that is 100% in your control, meaning that you can pay your credit cards off every month or at least hit the minimum balance, but ideally you're paying them off in full. That's 100% in your control.
Yes.
So 35% is just credit history, payment history, making sure that if you told somebody, I will need to borrow $1,000 and I will pay you back by this date, that you actually did pay them back by whatever date you set.
Yeah.
And the nice thing with credit cards is once that statement balance hits, so you basically have 30 to 60 days to be able to pay that credit card in full without accruing any interest, depending on when your credit card statements hit. I know it's kind of confusing to understand, but that's the best I can explain it on a podcast.
I think that's solid. I don't disagree with that. I mean, it's simple as paid on time.
Yep, paid on time.
Paid on time. Simple as that.
So 35% is going to be payment history. The next 30%, so these two numbers together make up 65% of your credit score, is credit utilization.
Utilization.
Now what that means is if I tell Dominic, I'm going to extend you $100 worth of credit. That means Dominic now has $100 to go and play with. But at the end of the month, if I go, Dominic, how much money did you spend? If he said, I spent all 100 of it, me, as the guy who lent him $100, goes, okay, so Dominic probably needs a lot more money than that. I don't want to lend him any more money. Because if he's already using $100, and if I give him more money, then he's not going to be able to pay me back ever. So credit utilization is trying to keep how much you're actually reporting to the credit bureaus, how much you're using. General rule of thumb is you want to stay below 30%. So again, if I gave Dom $100, and he came back at the end of the month, they said, Dom, how much money did you use? He said, I only spent $30. Okay.
That's solid.
I could probably give Dom more money because he's going to be able to pay back the $30.
Yeah.
Because he had an extra 70 left over.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing that impacts the credit score is length of history. How long you've had your credit cards.
Yep.
Right? That's not a big chunk. It's only 15%, but that's still decent size.
Yep, 15%. So the age of credit accounts will affect your score pretty dramatically. So, that's going to be a big thing. And that does kind of suck for some people that are really young. Like, how do I build up my credit if I'm so young? But remember, it's only 15%. You still have two other things that are far more in your control. And that brings us to one of the smallest actually, only making up 10%, is the type of credits you use.
So like car loans, mortgages, stuff like that?
Yep, car loan, mortgage, student loans, credit cards. Anytime that you, in multiple different types of credit cards, multiple credit cards, all these things show that like I have all these different types of credits to me and I am paying each one of them.
Yep.
But say you're like really good at paying off your credit cards, but you're really bad at paying off your car payments
or your student loans.
That's going to still affect your credit score negatively because it's looking at all of this in aggregate.
No, I think that's super important. I don't think a lot of people realize that. That car loan, stuff like that, where they had to, it's like, just the one pull, they pulled my credit to get my new car. And it's like, I'm done, it's done deal. Like, no, if you miss your payment on your car, guess what? It's going to affect your credit score.
Yep, and now when you go to buy your house or something like that,
they might see that.
They will see that.
Yeah.
And your house is going to be the biggest purchase that most people make in their lives, and having a credit score that's differing from like an 800 to like a 720 to a 620 could be full percentage points of interest. And those full percentage points, when you're looking at the cost of a house plus the 30 years or 15 years that it takes to pay off that house, could be a dramatic amount of money.
Thousands and thousands.
And thousands of dollars.
Yeah, tens of thousands.
Tens of thousands, yes. Lots of money.
Lots of monies, lots of currency.
And then the final one, the final 10% of the 100 that brings up the credit score is new credit. So every time that you apply for new loans, it actually does negatively impact your credit score.
Yeah.
So if I was to give Dom again $100, and then Dom was like, hey Chris, I need another $100.
Yeah.
Or I need more credit, another 100.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to kind of ding me a little bit and be like, that's kind of concerning. Why do you need another 100? I'll give you 180. So it's kind of thinking along that way. Why are you asking for more and more and more? But again, there's a way to gamify this because I use credit cards constantly. I'm constantly opening up new credit cards. But I know the things that are in my control are my payment history and my credit utilization. Yeah. Always 100% in my control. So focus on those things.
100%. And, that's not too bad. We talked about credit history, utilization, history, length, yeah, types of credit, car loans, stuff like that, and new credit, getting new cars, asking for more money, stuff like that.
So that is what makes up all of your credit score. But remember, the most important thing is focusing on paying yourself first and actually paying off those cards.
Yeah.
Like good financial, good credit
Habits.
Yeah.
Good credit.
I think credit habits.
I guess good credit habit. That works.
Good payment habits, good credit habits is what's going to set you apart as having a good credit score. Not focusing on these little like, oh well, I had to open up a credit card, or I need to go and open up. I guess I need to go to school and get student debt in order to increase my credit score. Like, not worth it.
No, not worth it. That's not what we're saying here. It's not what we're saying at all. Don't spend money you don't have with a credit card.
And don't spend things that you don't need.
Yes.
If you don't have the money.
Yeah, especially if you don't have the money. Yeah. Yeah, that's a real bad place to be in. Spending money you don't have on things you don't need on a card that has interest. So even if this is like the sussy thing about like, if you buy something with a credit card, it's like, oh, it's on sale. But if you don't pay it off this month, it's like the sale, the price of it is just growing.
Yeah, hashtag grandma.
Growing, yeah. You gotta pay in cash. That's why.
That's what makes it difficult, right? And unfortunately, what the situation you described, people not having money to buy things that they don't need with money that they don't have or with credit.
Yeah.
That's kind of the American system. Like that's how most people live their lives.
Yeah.
So that's the reason people tune into the Fi Guys and listen to us. So thank you for joining us again here today, is to help to break free of those chains, because we're trying to show you that there's a different way. The way that credit card companies, like the way that I strategically use cards to travel the world for free, I'm probably in the minority, 5 to 10% of people.
Maybe less
of people are using their cards that way, but the other 90% are building up interest every month and paying all of this stuff, but they're able to subsidize me to travel the world for free. So thank you. Yeah. But I don't want our listeners to be amongst them.
No. We're trying to grow that 10%.
We are.
Yeah.
So how do we improve our credit scores now that we understand what a credit score is?
Yeah.
So the first thing, and remember this is the biggest one, is 35% of it is payment history. So it's really easy. Pay your credit card off.
Yeah.
Pay it in full every month. If you can't pay it in full because life happens, and I understand that, at least hit the minimum payment every month.
Yeah. And I think it's like, if you're new to credit cards, it would be easy to pay it off every month. Because some people who are already in a deep hole, they can't pay $20,000, $15,000. It's like, I only make $4,000, $5,000 a month. It's like, you can't pay it off every month. But if you're just starting out, pay it off every month. And if you're in a hole, get out of the hole. Do your best to just, put more money down, more. You got to dig yourself out of the hole.
Yeah, you got to either make more money, you got to spend less money. You got to throw all of that, whatever side of the lever you pull. Ideally, it's both sides of those levers. But all that money that's getting saved is going straight to that debt. And get rid of that, because credit card debt is a noose around your neck that is very difficult. That really is a hair on fire situation.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter what kind of returns you're getting in the market. It's not going to be 20 to 30% guaranteed from your credit cards.
No, the credit cards they make a lot of money off people just not paying off their money.
Yep, and they do. And it's unfortunately, it's never been easier to be late on your credit card payments with the advent of automatic bill pay.
I see what you're saying. So it's never been easier to not be late. Gotcha.
Because now there's automatic bill pay. Every time that you open up a new credit card, every time that for your student loans, for your car payments, you're able to go online and just say, every month on blank date, I want you to pay whatever the amount is.
Yes.
And now all you have to do is be sure that you have that amount available by not spending more than you make and knowing those numbers.
Simple as that.
Yep. So pay your bills on time. That's going to affect 35% of your credit score right there.
Yeah. Super simple. What's the next one?
Number 2 is manage your credit card balances. This goes into credit utilization, which is the next 30%. So we want to make sure that we have a good, healthy credit to utilization ratio. Meaning with my little example of Dom, if I give him $100, he ideally does not want to spend more than $30.
30%.
30%.
Yeah.
And then for me, I typically try to keep it below 1 to 3%. That's what I keep it in.
Yeah.
And it's a little difficult, but the way that I'm able to do that is at the end of the month, whenever your credit card or whatever your payment is, and this only really works for credit cards. It doesn't really work for student loans and car payments and all these other things, because that's going to report regardless.
Yeah.
But for credit cards, which is majority where people end up in a really bad place is with credit cards, it's at the end of the month when your statement hits, that statement is what's getting reported to the bureau. So if you want to, a few days before your statement hits, pay off a large amount of that card, then whatever is left over is going to get reported to the bureau. So if I had $1,000 on my card that was going to get reported, but a few days before my statement closed, I paid off all $1,000 and now there was zero on there. Now it says, hey, Chris used no money on his card. I'm not saying do that every time because you want to show a little bit, but you also don't want to show a lot. So that's the hard, fine balance that we're going to find with each other. Remember, general rule of thumb, not over 30%. I use 1 to 3. Dom likes 10.
Yeah. 10 is simple for me.
10 is simple.
Yeah.
I really just pay off my cards twice a month.
Yeah.
On the 15th and right before the end of the month. And that's just, I happen to stay in the 1 to 3 range.
Yeah, it makes sense. That makes sense. Number 3?
Yep. And then for that one, make sure that you're paying more than minimums.
Yeah.
That's going to be super helpful for utilization. Like
Yeah.
pay in full, honestly, is the best way to go.
Yeah, because the minimums, if you just do the minimums, it's going to take you for freaking ever to pay off that card. And that's like without you spending any more on the card.
Yep, because remember, you're just paying the minimum, but that's not paying off the interest.
Yeah.
So the interest is growing, and on most credit cards, 20 to 30%.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Yep. The next big way to improve your credit score is length of credit history. So lengthen your credit history. This one's a little bit difficult because, I mean, you can't
really control it.
Time is time.
Yeah.
Like, you really can't speed it up. But things you can do is it actually does benefit you to keep old cards open. So be pretty sparing when you're looking at like what card should I close if they're really old.
Yeah.
So if I have 2 credit cards, one's 10 years old and one is 1 year old, if I get rid of my 10-year-old credit card, now my credit history is going to only show 1 year.
Yeah.
But if I get rid of my 1 year credit card, now it's going to show that I have 10 years. But with them together, it shows I have 5 years because they're going to average it out.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's one of the things that people don't really realize. It's like, oh, I don't use this card, I'll just cancel it. It's like, no, it actually plays a part.
It does play a part.
It does play a part.
And that's the difficult part about this is like something that affects one thing positively also affects another thing negatively.
Yep.
And that kind of moves into the next thing, diversity of credit accounts. Yep. So diversity of credit accounts, it actually does advantage you to have different types of credit. So having student loans, car loans, home loans, credit cards, different types of credit cards. Yep. It does help you there, but then it's also going to hurt you a little bit too if you have too much.
Yeah.
So it's never going to be recommended that you just go and start opening up different credits in order to open up different credits to improve your credit score because that only makes up 10%.
Yeah.
Remember, control what you control, and what you control is paying your bills on time and your credit utilization.
Exactly.
Another big thing for lengthening your credit history that is very helpful is you can always find a cosigner if your parents already have their payment. If your parents or maybe a grandma or an aunt is willing to put you on as a cosigner on their card and cosign you on their card with them, then you can actually piggyback on top of their credit history. Now, this is a double-edged sword because if you screw up, you're screwing them over, or if they screw up, they're screwing you over.
Yeah.
So it's something to be very cautious of. But if you have very limited credit, it is a good way to build your credit fairly quickly.
I wonder how much, let's say if grandma decided to file for bankruptcy, how much would that affect my credit?
I have no idea.
No idea. You've never seen that one?
I mean, I've seen it, but I can't tell you what the score is going to be.
ChatGPT, here we go.
Yeah, ChatGPT, here we come.
Interesting. So diversifying accounts, credit length, all that fun stuff. What's next?
The next one is we want to be cautious on opening up new credit. And that's the effed up part, right? I just told you a second ago, want to be diverse. Now I'm telling you, you want to be cautious on opening up new credit.
What a scam.
I know, it's so difficult. But again, focus on what you can focus on. Yeah. So if you need to open up new credit because it is important to your life or it's part of your strategy or something like that, then do what you have to do. Just focus on, again, paying your cards on time, in full, and your credit utilization. But every time that we open up for a new application of credit, that means the credit bureau is going to have to pull a report on you, and that's showing that, like, hey, I need new credit. And they're going to ask themselves, why do they need new credit?
Yeah.
That's a little risky to us.
Yeah.
So, of course, it's going to hurt your score. It just makes logical sense. And if we don't make it as like the man versus us, we just think about 2 people sitting in a room and asking, can I have more? Can I borrow more money? Can I borrow more money? It makes complete sense at that point.
Yeah.
And it's the exact same thing, just scaled up into a huge thing that has numbers and all this other stuff. But it's all based on trust.
It is.
All of this is based on trust. Our entire monetary system is based on trust.
It's true. It really is. It really is. I think we broke that down pretty good.
I think so too. I think it would go back to listen to the Monday Pod if you really wanted to go a little bit deeper into it. But that's really what your credit score is made up of. It's 35% payment history, so pay your cards in full on time. Yeah. Number 30% is going to be credit utilization. So try not to If you have $1,000 to you, try not to spend all $1,000 is getting reported to the bureau.
Yeah.
Length of credit history, really not a lot you can do about that. But if you can find someone to co-sign with you, remember it's a double-edged sword. They can always use that. If not, time is going to elapse with you. It's only 50% of your score, so not that big of a deal. 15, 1-5. And then the other 10% is types of credit you have, and then new credit card inquiries.
Bingo. Simple as that. Let's get on to segment 3. What are we doing in segment 3?
So segment 3, first we're going to talk about ways to maybe increase your credit if you're a little bit bad. And then last time, on Monday, we went through my wallet.
Yes.
And I told you how I think of credit cards and what things I have in my wallet for 2024.
But one to me.
For this time, we're going to go to Dominic. So first things is building credit is very, very important for a myriad of different reasons.
You know, buying a house, getting a good car, all that fun stuff.
Yep. And the first thing that we need to do when we want to start to build our credit and grow our credit is we first need to know what our credit score is and what are the things that are affecting that credit score. So I always recommend going to annualcreditreport.com. This is recommended by the federal government. That's the actual website. When you go to the website, it looks terrible.
It looks sketchy.
It does not look real.
It's a government site.
It's a government site. Make sure you're at annualcreditreport.com, or if you have a bank, most banks offer you to be able to go to your to see your credit scores. Now, when you look at your credit score, don't just look at the number. Don't look at the 300 to 850. You want to go a level deeper and actually look at the credit report showing what factors are you doing well in and what factors are you not doing well in. For example, for my site, I know, look how bad that looks.
Yeah, I just pulled up the site. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. In my head, I didn't think there was going to be any images or color, just like text-based stuff. But I mean, it's not great, but it's not horrible, the website.
Yeah. So for me,
Anyway.
let's talk about me for a second.
Yes.
So for me, if you were to talk about all the components, my payment history is amazing. My credit utilization is amazing. My length of history is quite good. But my types of credit use and my credit and how often I'm pulling on my new cards, so 20% of mine is pretty bad. I do those two pretty negatively, and I still have an 812.
812. Okay.
Because I focus on paying my card on time, good utilization, and history is history. It came up with time.
Yeah. Simple as that.
But I'm not concerned about the types of credit I use, and I'm not concerned about how many cards I apply for. Because those sway the numbers so small compared to the other big things that I focus on.
Yeah.
I mean, 80% is just focused on the top 3, length of time, utilization,
Bingo.
payment history. That got me to an 812.
Simple as that.
Yep.
Simple as that.
So that's the reason that we want to use, that's the reason we want to build our credit. And the first thing to do is to look at what our credit is and what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong and start affecting it. Now, for people who have poor credit, it's very difficult when you already have poor credit to get out of that and to start building up. So people with poor credit, what I typically recommend doing is using a secured card.
Okay. What is the difference between a secured and unsecured?
So a normal credit card, like what most people think about, is an unsecured line of debt, meaning that the bank is just saying we trust you enough based off your credit score to give you this much.
Yeah.
A secured line of credit is basically you giving whoever's giving you that loan money as collateral, saying if I don't pay off this in full, you get to keep this collateral.
I see. Okay.
So that makes it secured. So think about a home equity line of credit. You're putting your home up as collateral.
Yeah.
So that's why the interest rate is substantially lower, because the bank knows if you default, we'll just take your house. It's cool. We don't want to be homeowners, but we have something against you.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that gets a scary. That can be a scary situation.
Oh my God!
If you default on a
that'd
HELOC.
be so bad.
Yeah, not ideal.
Again, it all comes down to the importance of using credit cards responsibly. Next thing I want to talk about is student credit cards. So people who are younger, high school, college, student credit cards are usually a really good option. They have very low credit limits, but obviously if you're a student, you don't have very much credit history, if not even a big job to your name and a lot of money.
No.
So obviously getting a card with low credit limit is probably a good thing. If you're in college and someone offers you $10,000, well, you're probably going to spend $10,000 on booze, which is going to set you up for a pretty bad situation. But if you're in college and someone gives you $500, if you blow $500 on booze, that sucks. But at least you're not $10,000 in the hole. You're only $500 in the hole.
Oh gosh.
So lower limits, but they do have tailored rewards to college students.
Yes.
So they might not be like all the travel perks and all this other stuff, but they might get you money back on books, or
or no annual fee.
Yeah, no annual fee, stuff
That's the
like
one
that.
that's really popular. Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah. And then the next big thing that we always talk about, and I'm a very big proponent of this, is credit cards for travel rewards.
Yes, sir.
So
That's your bread and butter.
I mean, it really is like a life hack of life hacks is being able to use credit cards strategically in order to travel the world for free. Like me and my wife have been able to, growing up, we didn't have a lot of money, so I never had to really travel a lot. But once I found credit card hacking, I was like, oh, I can just doing my normal life and just spending like a normal person, I could travel the world for pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty darn cool.
But that those doors really only open to you if you have a high enough credit score.
Yeah.
These like premier travel rewards cards really only open up to people if they have a 720 credit score or better. 760 to be like ideal.
Yeah.
760, 780, you're probably not going to get denied for any card. But if you're below a 720, it's going to be,
tougher.
It's really a flip of a
Yeah.
coin if you're going to get approved or not. And if you don't get approved, you actually just hurt your credit again because you applied.
Oh, that's right, because you got a credit pull. It's going to hurt your credit, and you get denied. Yeah.
Yeah, and the denial.
Well, the denied didn't work. The denied doesn't change.
It doesn't matter. But if you did get approved, then that means your credit utilization would be able to increase a little bit.
The denied hurts my pride.
The denied hurts my pride.
The denied hurts my pride.
I have yet to be denied on any credit card, and every time now that it's getting like I'm at like 100% success rate, like the first time I fail, I'm gonna cry. Like I'm just gonna no, break something.
Dang, dude, you should go out for like the biggest card out there.
I mean, I have
You have big ones.
I have some pretty big ones.
You have some massive ones, really.
I don't know. I mean, the only credit cards I know of that are like above mine are ones you have to be invited to.
Yeah, and that stuff's like, oh, spend 200,000.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, no, that's ridiculous.
But yeah, so choosing the right travel rewards card for you is going to be a plethora of different questions we need to answer, questions we need to ask, what are we going to do? The thing with big travel rewards cards is they do have annual fees ranging anywhere from like $70 to $700.
Or more.
Or more.
Yeah.
So that's usually a big pill for people to swallow, saying like, oh, so first you're going to extend me credit only if I give you a bunch of money? Like that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, why am I paying for this?
Why am I paying for this? But you're really paying for the advanced rewards, and we want to make sure we're using this strategically. I always recommend for people that are hearing this for the first time to go back and listen to episode 2 with the Fi Guys, all about credit card hacking. And we decided last pod that we're going to redo that episode because we were very early on in our podcasting journey.
Yeah, it's not the best looking podcast, but the information is solid.
Yeah, information is solid. So we'll make it look better and be better.
Yeah.
Because we've learned better how to podcast.
Yeah, we're better podcasts.
We're better podcast. So we'll go ahead and redo that for you guys so you guys can hear how we think through credit cards. But if you go back on Monday's pod, I actually went through my wallet for 2024 and kind of showed you what I think through on credit cards and why I keep them, when I don't keep them. Yes. And actually what we're going to move into right now is a little segment for Dominic.
Yeah.
Where he's looking for a new credit card and we're going to do that together.
I love it. So what credit, where do I even start?
Well, tell me, you currently have one credit card, right?
Yeah, we'll say I have one credit card.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what's your length of history on that credit card?
It's about 10 years.
Okay. So we know, first off, if you open up a new credit card this year, your length of history is going to shorten to 5 years.
That's true.
So will it negatively impact your credit score? Would you mind telling me a range of what your credit score is?
It's about a 790.
Okay. So 790. You have a very good credit score.
It's pretty solid.
So that means that you have access to pretty much every single credit card out there.
Sick.
So
that's good. It's a good start.
What are our goals for this new credit card? What are you hoping to achieve?
I'd love to get cash back on everyday purchases. I know you do a lot of traveling. Me, I'm not in that stage just yet. I'm still building my wealth up and still, creating good financial habits and building up different accounts and whatnot and saving. So I don't think I need a travel card.
Okay.
I don't think I need the Southwest Companion Pass or anything like that just yet. I think for me, it's just cash back, maybe a low to no yearly fee. That would be exciting too.
Okay.
But I'm open to all suggestions. I know last time when we were going through your, credit cards, I believe it was the Venture X. That's the one I thought was like, oh, that's really nice. It kind of drew to me.
Okay.
That one, drew to me?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Drew me in?
Drew me in, yeah. And you had a Star Wars credit card, so that was very tempting.
That was it.
For all professional reasons, the Sapphire X is what I was looking at.
Okay. So when it comes to just like getting cash back or just cashback rewards cards, there really isn't a good way of doing that. You're just gonna have to kind of go around online and like see what's gonna be the best thing. The way you really maximize using credit cards is for travel.
Okay.
But you still can, even if you're getting cards that do travel rewards. So let's say right now, there's the card that I usually recommend people starting with is a Chase Sapphire Preferred. That one has a $95 annual fee, so you're spending $100 to have that card. But if you spend, I think it is, let's see here.
What kind of offer do you got for me?
Yeah, intro offer. If you spend $4,000 in the first 3 months, you get 60,000 points.
Okay.
That 60,000 points is roughly equivalent to $1,200 of value. Or if you want the cashback option, that'll be $600.
Okay.
So that's where it makes more sense to use it for travel.
Yeah.
But you can use these travel rewards cards, these that are geared for travel, that are better if you use them for travel, that's more effective as a cashback rewards card. It's just not optimal.
So I could use the points for, well, give me an example of what I could use points for those who don't know.
You can use them for straight cashback.
Straight cashback. Okay.
So anything you put on the card, you can just say use my points as a penny for point. So 60,000 will be $600.
Yeah.
And just pay off whatever.
But if I, rather than not doing the cashback, could I just use my points towards like, you know, how, like, is there like because it's like a redeemable thing, right? So each company is a little bit different. With Chase, what can I, besides just taking the cash, is there something I could use my points for rather than that?
Yeah, travel.
Travel? But like, okay, so I would use, you have to book travel through Chase, correct?
Or you can transfer it to a transfer partner.
Okay, so
And
like,
that's usually where points, like you can transfer it to Southwest or Marriott or...
Okay,
And that's where like bonuses start getting really big, is when you do those transfers.
Interesting. So you're recommending the Chase Sapphire for me personally?
Well, no, I'm not really sure. Because what you're saying, first off, is that you just want a good card that's going to get you back like good cash back.
Yeah.
So that could be a good one because it's got a $95 annual fee. One thing that you did say a second ago is that you're really interested in the Venture X card. Why did that one speak to you?
I think it was because it brought a lot of value back.
Okay. So that one gives you $300 in statement credits for anything that you purchase through the Capital One portal for travel. It also gives you $10,000 or 10,000 points back, which is roughly equivalent to $100 for travel.
Yeah.
Now, is traveling something that you want to do? Because
It's definitely something that I wouldn't mind doing more of.
Okay.
I definitely want to travel more. But it's also nice to like earn points for travel when I do end up, down the line start traveling, that I already have all these points built up.
Okay. Remember for the Venture X though that you get $300 a year in credit, and it's a use it or lose it system.
That's true.
So if you don't use it, then you just lost $300.
Interesting. So I could use that $300 credit towards a flight. Nice.
Or towards a rental car, or towards a hotel, or whatever it is. But if you're not going to use it, then it's probably not worth it, especially because that card's $400.
That's a lot.
So it's kind of hard for me to recommend you going directly into a $400 credit card.
Yeah.
For you, what I'd probably recommend, since you are a business owner, and this might be a good way to kind of also get a business credit card.
Yeah.
Right now, the Chase Inc. Business Preferred has a $95 annual fee.
Okay.
But is actually offering 100,000 points.
Yeah.
Here's the big thing, if you spend $8,000 in the first 3 months, which I know you're moving right now, so it might be possible for you to spend that $8,000, that's really only, $2,700 a month for the next 3 months?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's possible for you, but if you could do that, that $1,000 is worth the 100,000 points is worth $2,000 in value towards travel.
Yeah.
Or $1,000 towards cashback stuff.
Definitely. That's definitely a lot to think about. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and then there's so many different other options of credit cards that you can recommend. But the reason that I really like Chase is because Chase has the most optionality. So for you just getting started in this game, I definitely don't recommend that you go into like the American Express Platinum where you're spending $700 or anything like that. While those rewards are amazing, just like Chase's are, I said we kind of start the barrier to entry a lot lower, which would be a card for $100 or so, and go from there. I mean, I know you don't have a partner or anything, but if you did have a partner, we'd probably be looking at like maybe a Southwest card to get the
Yes.
Southwest Companion Pass. But right now, that's probably not the best option for you.
No.
If you want to learn more about that, episode 19, we talk all about the Southwest Companion Pass and how I'm able to fly with my wife for free.
Definitely.
So for you, based off what we just talked about, either the Chase Sapphire Preferred, which would be a $95 card, that's only going to get you 60,000 points, but you only have to spend 4,000 in the first 4 months. That's a personal card.
Do you think I should wait to see if the bonus offer, like the offer gets a little bit better?
Yeah, you probably could, because 60 is about the lowest it's going to go. It's not going to go any lower than that, so it could get better, but it also might not get better. You don't really know.
Weren't you saying that like they do new bonuses every month or something?
Yeah, on the first is when they'll usually release new ones, and typically what I found is at the end of the beginning of the year is not a good time, and then usually the best time for rewards is like March, April, May.
So we're getting into there. We'll get there.
So we can look again there.
Yeah.
Recommended range for the Sapphire for your credit scores is 670 to 850. So you're above that.
Yeah.
And the other option I would probably recommend to you would be the Chase Business Preferred card. Again, you have to have a business in order to have that, but Chase is not the IRS. So listen to our credit card ones. I've talked all about that.
Yeah.
But that one will give you, if you spend $8,000 in 3 months, 100,000 points, which is more.
Perfect.
It's $400 more to you.
Yeah.
Or $800 more.
I think that's solid. I think there's a lot of great information in there, and I'll look into those.
Yeah, but as you start to travel more, once you start saying like, oh, I want to travel to this specific location, or I want to like stay at these places, or I want to stay at these types of hotels, that's when I'm able to start to tailor your credit cards more to you. But right now, when you're just kind of like, I don't really know, I just want stuff, these are the best credit cards because it gives you the most optionality.
Interesting.
And with that, should we get into the viewer mailbag?
I think we should get right into the 5 Friday feedback viewer mailbag. First off, I want to say thank you for helping me. Appreciate that.
Oh yeah, first things first though. Always use your credit cards responsibly. Doesn't matter what you do.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how many points you get. If you are not using your credit card responsibly, or if you think like, don't worry, this interest payments that I'm doing is worth it because it's going to help me with my credit, build my credit, or it's going to help me travel the world for free. No, because you're losing too much money on the interest to make it worth it.
Yeah. Use the credit card responsibly.
Pay
That
your
being
balances in full.
Yeah.
Avoid interest payments.
Yes. Pay the balance in full as much as you can. Always. Every day. Every month.
Every month.
Every month. Okay. The time has come. It is now 5 Friday feedback, viewer mailbag time. I'm excited for this one.
Let's do it.
This one's interesting. So, can you help a high schooler looking for help? Interesting.
He's a high schooler.
He's a high schooler, yeah. Yep, you can tell. Can you help a high schooler looking for help on a real estate, credit building, and investments? I think we can. Howdy, Fi Guys. All right, buckle up. Buckled. All right, I've read through this already, and there's a lot of points where I could stop, but I'm just gonna bulldoze through it. So yeah. All right, buckle up, finance gurus. This 17-year-old with the ambitions of the size of Texas is ready to level up their money game. My quest, mastering the real estate, credit, and investing trifecta, and building a future where a workday involves pina coladas, not spreadsheets. You are a high schooler. Do not drink. Think of me as a sponge, soaking up knowledge like it's going out of style. I've got the basics of credit building down. Hello, responsible credit builder. But real estate and investment worlds are still a shroud of mystery for me. Think pyramids, hieroglyphics, ancient financial secrets waiting to be unlocked. Okay. Here's the deal. I'm aiming for a sweet spot, the passive income zone where rental properties and savvy investments generate my caffeine budget and then some. Think $200,000 to $300,000 a year, with enough left over to fuel my wanderlust and my fuel for my entrepreneurial journey. Reinvesting is key, baby. It literally says key, baby. Nice.
High schooler.
Yeah, I'm never saying that again. Reinvesting is key. Insert that word. This ain't a one-shot deal. It's an empire in the making. I love that. But hold on. I'm not some naive dreamer lost in a sea of stock charts. I'm a hustler, a grinder, away at school, juggling chores like a pro. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. But hey, every hustler needs a mentor, someone with the street smarts and financial wisdom to guide them through the maze. That's where you come in. Thank you. Oh, wise wizards of wealth, love that. Any insights you could share would be like finding the holy grail of financial freedom. Think real estate gold mines hidden in plain sight, credit loopholes that would make my credit score cry, and investment strategies that would send my grandma into shock. Jesus. Sincerely, your knowledge is worth more than a gold-plated Bitcoin. So, what do you say? You down to be my Yoda, my sensei, my personal guru, my personal finance guru? Hit me back with your wisdom and let's turn this dream into a reality. One rental property, one smart investment at a time. Remember the bright future, the bank account looking up, and with your guidance, this aspiring financial ninja is ready to conquer the world. Peace out, best regards, if you prefer. Okay. From 17 and keen, financial dreams turning, seeking your guidance for a lesson worth learning.
That was a lot.
Next. Dang. That was a lot. Dang. That was like a blast from the past,
That was
bro.
a blast from the past. Okay.
Dude, I need to chill after that one. Good Lord. Okay. Let's get into the notes from that one.
So first off, I'm having trouble like even saying like what was the question?
I don't even know. I think he just wants more education.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So what I'm thinking the question is he is interested in real estate. He wants to build his credit, and then he also wants good investments.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the first thing I'm going to say to any high schooler is you need to educate yourself more on every single realm of those.
Yes.
If you want to be a real estate investor, you need to start learning about real estate investing. If you want to be a individual stock picker, you need to start learning about those things. Unfortunately, when it comes to high school, it's the get rich quick schemes. Like that's what everyone's gravitated towards. Like, only 10% of people beat the market. Only 10% of people do well in whatever niche they're in. But every single high schooler, especially males, think that they're in that top 10%.
Yes, we know this because we were those high schoolers.
Yes, we know this because I was there, and now I'm here to show that there might be a better way.
I remember picking stocks in the middle of class.
Yep.
Like I used to play this like paper money. Like you could paper trade the stock market and pick like actual stocks, but it's like fake money. And I would just be doing that in the middle of like class.
Yeah, and I remember in high school we did that same thing where they were like, "Oh, who's the best stock picker?" And they basically like bring you to the computer lab and like everyone's choosing that. Yeah. That was like the worst way to introduce people to the stock market.
So dumb.
Because you give them a month to like whoever wins like this
gift card,
a jar of jelly beans or some stupid crap.
Nice.
And then everyone just like the best guy just happens to be the guy that purchased one stock just because he didn't give a shit.
Yeah, like I chose Southwest Airlines because their ticker symbol is love. And it's like, get out! That's not a good way to pick stocks.
That's not right. Yeah, and then they win, and everyone's like, okay, I guess that's how you win. You just get lucky.
Yeah, it's like that's a horrible way to learn.
Yeah, I don't know.
Horrible way to learn. Yeah.
If I could fix one thing for the education system, it wouldn't be that, but that'd be part of it. But for our writer, you really need to start like reading books, go on online courses. Like you're listening to the podcast, so that's good.
Solid.
Like, that's a really solid way. But there's so many different ways that you need to start learning. Because for you to ask me like, how do I get a rental property? How do I build my credit? What are good investments?
Yep.
You don't even know what question to ask.
Yeah. You have to formulate your mind to ask the right question.
Yep.
It's not even about the answer; it's about the question. And like last week's pod, we talked about the psychology of money, the book. We also talked not in a podcast yet, but Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, stuff like that. Definitely great books to involve yourself in. I think the more time you spend in the arena of finance, the more comfortable you are with the battle.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's kind of the next thing is like he says, I want to be financially independent, like sipping pina coladas, bringing in $200,000 to $300,000 a month or a year. Yeah. And that's awesome. But then if that's the case, what are you willing to sacrifice right now in order to achieve that? Yeah. So if that's what you want, and I feel that means that you're going to have to start making a lot of money really fast and not spending any of it. Yeah. And just saving everything up and reinvesting it into your rental properties and into your investments that right now it doesn't seem like you have much knowledge on how to get into either one of those or what either one of those entails. I think rentals and doing real estate is an amazing way to make wealth, but so many people think that is like a passive way of making wealth. It's not passive in any way, shape, or form. No. Like once you have a good business that's running, you have good tenants, good systems and processes. At that point, it is quote unquote passive.
Semi-passive.
Yeah. But building up that real estate empire and like starting like purchasing your first home, getting tenants in, dealing with the toilets, tenants, trash, all the BS that it takes to do it, that's a lot of work, and it's not passive in any way, shape, or form at the beginning.
A lot of learning, a lot of mistakes.
A lot of failing.
But in the end, success.
Yes.
If you're willing to go through the muck of it, if you're willing to really get your hands dirty and learn and fail publicly sometimes, and you can win. Yeah. You can still win.
So if this guy's in high school, and I'm guessing he's probably still living at home.
Yeah.
If he wanted to go directly into real estate, like I doubt he has money for a down payment.
No.
So what I'd probably recommend is maybe house hacking.
Yeah.
Where maybe you
or just staying with your parents for a while.
Staying at home and like try to build up your savings as much as you can, and also build your credit at this time. We just did a whole podcast all about building your credit. Yep. The best way, if you're not 18 right now and you can't apply for a credit card, is ask your parents if they will co-sign you onto one of their credit cards. That way you can start to piggyback off that. I don't know what your parents' credit is. Only if your parents have good credit scores. If their credit scores are terrible, don't do that.
And they're responsible with money.
And you're responsible with money too. Because your parents have to trust you, or they can just put you on the card and not give you the card. That's probably what I'm going to do with my kids, honestly.
Yeah, you said that.
Yeah.
It's funny.
The next big thing is if you are staying with your parents, start saving your money for a down payment on a property. If that's the way you want to go.
Yeah. I think that's a smart move. And don't just you can just put it in cash under your bed, but I would recommend putting it in a high yield savings account to where you're not just stacking cash where it's like, oh, I made $500 this week. It's like, no, you made $500 and then you put it in an account and it starts growing interest.
And then that $500 made $5.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that's what we're trying to do. And it's difficult too, because unfortunately what a lot of kids do, once they start seeing that they have that like money that's made for their real estate, for like maybe their first property or their car or whatever, they see all that money sitting there like, oh, I have $10,000 there. That's silly. I've heard not to have money in savings. So I'm going to go and start trading it. And make that $10,000 into $100,000.
I'm gonna blow it up. I'm gonna 10x it.
And then 5 minutes later, they have that $10,000 goes to zero, and then they stop playing the game.
Yeah.
So it's just so much we have to do is just saving money and realizing that becoming financially independent, like achieving what I've achieved in my life, what Dominic is working towards. Yeah. It takes time, it takes dedication, and it takes a lot of freaking sacrifice. Yeah. The worst thing that could happen to you is that you get all the money that you need because you're going to blow it. Like the universe has some weird causality rule. Is if you get something before you're ready for it, the universe will take it back. That's why so many people that win the lottery end up dead in a ditch like a year later.
Yeah.
They just
weren't ready for it.
They weren't ready for it. So that's where putting in the hustle and working and trying really is going to be the biggest thing. So you have to start to save money. You have to start to understand what money really means. Next big thing I can say for like someone in high school is you need to start networking. Yeah. Like that's the reason people go to college is not for the education. The education is great and good and whatnot. Yeah. But it's for the network. It's to start to grow people that can help you down the line. Yeah. And don't look at every relationship as what can you give to me. It's what can I give to you? How can I help you? Yeah. That's the way that you really grow a network and build skills so that when you are down in the muck, you need help, someone's willing to help you because you were willing to help them. Don't go into a room looking for what can you help me with, because people can smell that a mile away. Yeah, absolutely. I think also this person wants to make a lot of money. I think rather than setting a goal to say, I want to make 200,000, 300,000, $1 million, rather than saying, I want to make $1 million a year, set out a goal to be the type of person that can make $1 million a year. Because quick money comes fast, leaves faster, you know? But becoming the person that can do it and repeat it, it's beautiful, because sometimes in life, you know, we build up a myriad of skills and yet we get put back to zero, but in actuality, we still have all those skills. Yeah. And we can get back there. And building the person that can get to $1 million or more, $1 billion, whatever, that's what is truly needed in this person's case, I believe. Yeah. And it's difficult for me to like recommend, like, how are you going to get the real estate? I don't know what kind of job you have. If you're in high school, you probably don't have a job. Yeah. Or maybe you do, it's like a part-time job. Dairy Queen or something. Dairy Queen or like I don't know, something. Yeah. That's going to make it very difficult you need to focus on building money right now and saving money. There's really only two sides of this equation: how much money you make versus minus how much money you spend. The money that's left over is what gets to go into money to build your real estate empire or your investments.
Yeah.
If you don't focus on these two things, there's nothing left over to even put into investments. So a lot of people ask me like, oh, how do I become a real estate millionaire? Well, how much money do you have to put into real estate? Oh, I have nothing. Well, then you're not going to become a real estate millionaire. Sorry, that's just the way it works. Or tell me what the best stock to buy is right now. Well, first off, that's not my game. But if I ask like, all right, how much money do you have to put into a stock? And they're like, nothing.
Yeah.
Well, then nothing. Why are you even asking me the question?
Yeah. You can't buy stocks with nothing. You have to
start small.
You have to start small, and it's fun to talk about stocks. It's fun to talk about real estate, investments, all that stuff. But that's level 3, level 4 stuff. Let's talk about level 1.
Yeah.
Savings, expenses. Are you saving more than you're spending? Right?
Are you making more? Are you spending less than you're making?
Exactly. And like getting those baby steps down and like getting those walk versus run down is so important. So key.
And then once you do have that money up, now we're going to start small. We're going to start purchasing into stocks. So I always recommend ETFs, like big passive indexes, because based off the question, the way you worded the question, you're not the guy to go in there and choose. You're not the next Warren Buffett. You may be, but right now you're not that person. You don't have that knowledge base to ask that question based off the way that you formulated the question. And if you want to buy real estate, again, I would totally recommend like a single family purchase or maybe a duplex where you live in the house with them. But right now, like focus on staying home, focus on saving as much money as you can, and then continue researching the market. Research real estate, research investments, research whatever it is, whatever game you want to go. But what I fear for a lot of high schoolers, they want to go 0 to 100 immediately.
Yeah.
I want to be both a real estate investor and own my own business and have $1 million in the stock market that I'm day trading.
Yeah.
And like each one of those 3 things are individual skills that have taken me a decade or more to build up, and I'm still not even that good at any of them.
Yeah. I think it's very tempting because we've all been there where it's like, I want to study real estate, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this. I would say pick a discipline. Focus on it. Be a sponge about it. But also, I'm not saying give up on investments, give up on stock trading. Like, no, it's like have a foot in there, but pick one. It seems like he's crazy about real estate. So it's like, I would pick real estate, Do whatever you can to soak up more knowledge.
Yep. Even if it means just like apprenticing with somebody who is a real estate investor. Ask them like, what did you do? How did you get better at this stuff? That's really where the networking comes in. But it's also important to make sure that we have a diversification of investments. There is no one who's just 100% in real estate, 100% in one stock. You can do that. You can have that singular focus. But if something goes wrong, it's all wrong. And it's all gone. That's where when you're younger, having that diversification, the 8 to 9 uncorrelated bets, a la Ray Dalio, that's the way that we build wealth, and we also lower down our risk.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anything else to say on that?
Yeah, I mean, for him, it's going to be stay informed. Like maybe reach out to like a financial planner when you're 18, because if you're 17, you can't work with anyone like legitimately.
Yeah.
He probably doesn't need a financial advisor at this point because he has no money. Unless he does have money. If he does, then go ahead and let me know, because then we can maybe talk.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing you need to do is start coming up with a plan. You need to make more money. You need to make money. You need to spend less money. And you need to start getting that money ready, or the money that you're saving, ready to put into investments.
Nice.
And there is no get-rich-quick schemes that work. There is a reason that there is no one on the Forbes 100 list who is a day trader, who is an options trader, who does any of this stuff. Because building wealth takes a long time, and it's about staying in the game long enough, not going for the big swings every single time. Sometimes can you just bunt to first? Steal second. That's what you need to do. If you go for the grand slam every time, you're going to get taken out too often. If you get taken out in investing, most people never get back in.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, stay in the game.
Stay in the game.
Do your best to just stay in the game. Don't get wiped out.
Yeah. Stay informed and be deserving of a person that is worthy of a $200,000 to $300,000 net or annual income passively.
Yeah.
And the other thing I would question is this kid's only in high school. He hasn't even worked a real job a day in his life. how can he say that he doesn't want to do that if he hasn't never experienced it?
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the kids on social media see the 9 to 5 as like a trap, and it's like horrible. And for some people, they love it. Some people, they love it. I mean, you've done it. I've done it.
It really depends on where you're at.
Depends on the person, yeah.
I work every single day, and it's something that I love doing. And even if I wasn't making money, I would continue doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. With that being said, I hope you took that knowledge and you do something with it. You know, because knowledge without action is just entertainment. And while I do think we are quite entertaining, that is just my ego talking. But I want you to actually use the information we talk about.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So good luck, man. If you're still in high school, happy graduation. That should be coming up here in the next few months, I think.
I hope.
July, right? July,
No,
May?
I think May.
May? Okay. Next few months. Well, happy graduation. And yeah, man, you can always reach out to Chris at Mons on Wealth. I'd be happy to keep on pushing you in the right direction. But big things for you is stay informed. Just keep on learning. Focus on one thing at a time. Build up your credit. Ask your parents if they're willing to co-sign a credit card with you. And you can always maybe even look into like a custodial IRA or a custodial IRA if you have a job. When you're 18, you can actually open up your own IRA. But I'm not sure when that's going to be for you.
With that being said, let's get to win of the week.
Let's do it.
Win of the week. I'm going to go first just because mine is not as great as Chris's. So, it's like dessert is last for a reason, right? So my win of the week is we're entering the final stages of me moving to the new house. Everything is being set up. Everything is being prepared. And actually, unfortunately, for my sake, tomorrow I'm going to be in the attic. And I'm going to be putting a lot of insulation in the attic. So
it could be worse because right now in Arizona, it's pretty chilly.
It was, I don't know. I was on the sun earlier. It was actually kind of toasty.
Well, bro, imagine if you're doing it in August where it's like 120. You'd be dead.
Yeah. But thankfully, this is kind of an investment in the house and in my energy bill. So with, replacing not necessarily replacing, but I mean, it is basically replacing the insulation that's in the house now. I mean, it's 25 years old. You look up there and it's like a barren wasteland. Putting insulation up there, it helps with the sound. I yell a lot because of video games and sports. But that and it really helps with the energy bill.
I yell a lot. Sports, yelling at the dog.
Punching walls. Oh, the roid rage.
The roid rage.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm really excited to get to that next chapter of my life.
Cool.
We're getting there. The final pages of this chapter are closing. And we're entering a new chapter. It's funny because we were talking about this before the podcast. And we're trying to schedule some stuff for the next podcast recording and hey, come meet at my house. So we're going to things. And I was looking at the calendar and I was like, is this meeting going to be at the new place? I was like, no, not yet. But we're almost there. We're almost there. So I'm excited. But what is your win of the week?
So my win of the week is I just got back a few days ago back from Mexico City. We went down there to visit some friends. It was really, really good. But the biggest thing that I really enjoyed about this is I actually had the chance to meet with the founder of a new application called Kipsis.com, or Kipsis. It's a Kipsis app. Okay. A few weeks ago, we did the big, what is it? We did the best financial tracking tools and whatnot. Yes. So Kipsis is going to be a new app that should be releasing here in the next few months.
Okay.
That's going to do everything that we're looking for. We're going to be tracking your expenses, doing pretty much everything. Kipsis.com.
Kipsis.com. Okay.
Be tracking your expenses, tracking your net worth, kind of doing what My Elements financial planning software does, along with being able to also track your expenses, what you're actually putting on your cards. So it should be released home sometime in March. So I got to meet with the founder. We went to the Ritz-Carlton in Mexico City, which was pretty cool. Me and my wife got to go up there and meet with them. It's right across the street from this BBVA building. The towers are so high in Mexico City that the helicopters fly below you when you're at the bar.
What?
Yeah, you're so high, helicopters fly between the buildings, below where you are at the bar.
Dude, that's crazy.
Was it sick?
It was sick. It sounds sick.
Yeah, dude, it was really cool.
You're like, how drunk am I? Is that a helicopter?
So yeah, now awesome. and that also allows me to write off the entire Mexico City trip as a business expense.
Nice.
Because we met about business stuff.
Yeah. But yeah. I think that's my phone. Is that the finance guy calling?
Yeah. And then the other big thing that was really cool is we got to meet a bunch of people that are doing geo arbitrage. So it was really cool to go down there. The reason I like travel is you get to see how other people live. How does the average person in Mexico City spend their Sunday.
Yeah.
We got to go down to downtown Mexico City, but we got to meet a lot of Americans, young Americans, who are actually living in Mexico City, working in America virtually, and then getting paid in American, and then converting that immediately into Mexico, and like living down there for cheaper. You know, living, they just have such a vibrant life, and getting to experience that with them was the coolest thing for me and my wife, to kind of see how other people choose to live their life. Because we only have the matters perspective that we have. So being able to be there with them, other Americans who grew up, you know, in similar situations to all of us who live here in America, or if you don't live in America, wherever you are, and then they go to another place entirely in order to find the life that they enjoy.
Bingo. That's beautiful.
It was super cool.
Absolutely. Well, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast, and I guess we'll see you in the next one.
Yeah, we'll see you on the next one. Remember the fee for the show. If you found any value today, please tell a friend about the Fi Guys podcast. And until Monday, you have a great weekend. Later.
Peace.
This video podcast is sponsored by Monzon Wealth. The content in this podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered financial advice. We do not endorse specific products or services. Past performance does not guarantee future results. The opinions expressed are those of the hosts and guests, not the podcast sponsor.
It is crucial to consult with a qualified financial advisor or professional who can provide advice tailored to your specific needs before making any financial decisions, investments, or taking any other actions. If you are seeking specified help, you can reach out to Chris at monzonwealth.com.